Another one. Raging Cajuns baseball receives another commitment from a transfer portal pitcher. Let's discuss it here on Ragin Rundown. What's good, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Ragin Rundown, the show where you will know all things UL sports. I'm your guy, Jamarcus Fitzpatrick, but you know you can always call me Fitz. And in tonight's episode, as this is literally something that just happened within the last hour, we're talking about Louisiana baseball adding yet another pitcher to their bullpen coming out of the transfer portal. We'll talk about what it all looks like as of now and what this type of team is starting to shape up to look like going toward 2027. So I won't bury the lead. Louisiana adds a transfer portal pitcher in Jacksonville State transfer righty Jackson Evers. He is 6'3", 210 pounds, and he will have 1 year of eligibility remaining. He announced his decision on social media, as I'm always doing, staying active on socials. I saw where he posted about it, retweeted it, and immediately started looking at who he was as a player and all of those things like that. Getting this type of commitment, you add another experienced arm to your bullpen. It's not necessarily going to be a headline acquisition grabbing guy that it's like, oh man, you went and got this player that was National Player of the Year or anything like that. But you add some more stability to your bullpen as you head toward 2027, knowing the type of skill players that you already have on your roster. And you continue to prioritize your pitching staff, which is what head coach Matt Deggs said when he had his final media availability after the Cajuns lost to Mississippi State in the Starkville Regional Final. So let's talk about his path of how he got to this point at Louisiana. He started his career at Ole Miss. He redshirted his first season, so he did not play. He transfers to Northwest Florida State College, where he's 2 years at the JUCO level, and then moved to Jacksonville State for 2026. He showed perseverance throughout his career, and he has played at multiple levels of college baseball, and he's an older pitcher with quality experience like what we talked about already. So in his 2 seasons at Northwest Florida, he pitched in 54 innings. He had 67 strikeouts and 22 appearances with a 5.17 ERA. Then he transfers to Jacksonville State. His ERA drops just a bit as he has a 4.58 ERA in 17.2 innings pitched, 20 strikeouts, 15 appearances, and he was 1-0 in just one start there. So he has the strikeout ability, and some of his numbers that he was talking about when he posted initially that he would be entering the portal. And again, you know, I know a lot of people will say like this is a guy that's just bouncing around and all these things like that. But again, situations are different. He goes to Ole Miss and is not playing right away. So he transfers. He bets on himself going to the JUCO level. And then as he posted when he entered the transfer portal, he announced that due to coaching changes, he would be entering the transfer portal. So a guy that's looking for another opportunity to shine once again as he's moving to his next stop. Some of his numbers, he has a fastball that goes anywhere between 91 to 94 miles per hour, topping out at 95, a slider that's between 80 to 84, a cutter at 86 to 89, and I believe this is the sinker that's 90 to 93. And guys, he has really good stuff. There were a lot of moments where you could see swing and misses in the cut-ups that he had in his highlight reel on his social media platforms, and it got 89,000 impressions on socials. And I can see some Cajun fans down in the comments tagging Coach Tibbs, tagging Coach Sandy, saying welcome to being a Cajun well before this happened. So you guys kind of knew something going in this, or had a little bit of a hunch about this one, as this is now a final decision for this young man. So I don't necessarily think UL is just looking at the ERA or they're looking at the strikeout numbers or anything like that, you know, because many pitching coaches believe that they can fix command and consistency. And obviously, Coach Sandiford, because he's been able to do what he's done in the past season, what he did with Andrew Herman, continuing to develop Ty Roman, continuing to develop Sawyer Pruitt, he can be able to take some of these older pitchers and mold them through this offseason to where they can be good relievers, to where they can be good midweek starters, to where they can be options for you out of the bullpen to complement some of what you already have that you are returning in 2027. So where does Jackson Evers fit into your bullpen? Some potential roles for him. He could be a middle reliever, somebody that, after your starter goes 6 or 7 innings, he can come in and give you 2 to 3 innings or multiple innings. He can be a bridge arm between the starter and the closer, which is something that's going to be solid. You've got guys like Hayden Pearson already and Parker Smiths and so many others in your bullpen, as a Garrett Carter, so many others that you have in your bullpen as well. So he could be one of those guys. He could be a setup role, a late inning strikeout guy. Hey, we're in the bottom of the ninth and we need to close this door. Or, hey, we're in the 7th or 8th inning. Go get us a couple strikeouts real quick. Go ahead and slam the door shut for us. Or he could be a spot starter for you. Again, like a midweek starter, somebody that comes in on a Tuesday and continues to develop. We saw Sawyer Pruitt do that last year as a freshman. He's obviously much more older and has more experience at the collegiate level, but that just goes to show what he could potentially be for you. The biggest thing, like what I've said multiple times, that he's going to add to your bullpen is just an experienced arm. You can never have too much pitching because now, as of adding him to this roster, you now have 19 pitchers out of your bullpen, and they are as follows, as we've done in multiple episodes. I'll read them off. Ty Roman, Garrett Carter, Cam Riley, Parker Smith, Hayden Pearson, Sawyer Pruitt, Chase Morgan, J.R. Tillett, Landon Victorian, Bryce Wilson are all your returners. Evan Vincent from Turlings Catholic is a freshman. Trent Lape is a transfer. Dakin Kubat, Maddox Sullivan, Charlie Krebs, Blaine Albright, Griffin Miller, Kendall Dove, and now Jackson Evers enters the bullpen with your guys. So you're at 19. And I think that is still a very solid number. There's no telling, maybe you add an extra arm in there. But I think that the next thing that this program is going to be targeting is the catcher position, because you only have 2 guys in Cole Brown and Steven Spalita to give you options, and also to start looking potentially toward the future in case Cole Brown, I don't know if he would be a draft eligible sophomore or not, or whether he takes his opportunity in his junior year. You already could have somebody right in behind him that is learning and getting some opportunities to catch a little bit, and also give him a breather in some of those midweek games and rest him as a few opportunities that he could get in those different scenarios. So that's what you're looking like as of now. I'm going to take a quick timeout, and when we come back, we'll talk about this transfer portal class as a whole and a lot of what Coach Deggs is kind of looking toward and what this team could potentially be looking like as we head to 2027. We'll discuss it when we come back here on Ragin Rundown. Hey guys, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Ragin Rundown. We're going to get back into the action in just a second. But before we do, if you're watching this video, thank you so much. Please do me a favor. Please like it, share it, and leave a comment down below. But most importantly, make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you're listening, please follow the podcast feed, rate the show, and leave us a review, because that is going to help us get in front of more Ragin Cajun fans just like yourself. So before we went to break, we broke down who Jackson Evers was and what he could potentially do for your pitching staff in terms of helping as you move forward. So now the Cajuns, as we have discussed, are at 19 total pitchers. They have 8 of them being transfers, and then you have 4 infielders, making it 12, and then 1 outfielder in Kel Pisano, making it 13 total transfers that you are bringing in to your program. Okay. And some of those recent additions we talked about it: Micah Kendrick from Kansas State, Kendall Dove from UTSA, Manny Salez from Texas State, and now Jackson Evers from Jacksonville State. What is it that we are seeing Coach Deggs building? He is looking for experience. This is not going to be a roster built around freshmen. This is not going to be a roster built around development and waiting. This is going to be about getting experienced guys and saying, this is what we want to do. This is the goal that we have. Let's load up and let's compete. Very similar to what we saw Quanez White do during the offseason in the way that he structured his roster, going to get a lot of older guys. And even if we kind of look at the football aspect of things, Indiana, the national champions, the defending national champions, had a lot of older guys that they went and got out of the portal to be able to build the roster that they had that would go on to win a championship. That is kind of what college athletics is turning towards, because when you look at from a NIL evaluation standpoint, or just what you could get out of it, as a whole, if you go and you get a freshman player and he doesn't become a day one starter for you, like a Blaze Rodriguez, a Noah Lewis, a Sawyer Pruitt, or Colt Brown, they may have to sit back and wait for a while, and maybe they get impatient and they transfer. Or maybe you pay so much for them because they're highly touted coming out of high school and they don't pan out. And then they still transfer because they didn't pan out. Going to get a few more older guys, which I do believe that this is something that can be somewhat sustainable for you, but you have to deal with culture issues because not everybody is going to buy into your vision. Everybody brings their best representative when they're coming in on visits and they're having those conversations before they commit. But you never know what happens when adversity comes along or when a guy gets moved from a Friday starter to a midweek guy, like what Ty Roman dealt with during the season. You never know how guys are going to respond to those type of moments. But in getting experienced players, the one obstacle that you're not having to climb over is having to teach these guys how to be college players, right? They understand that they have study hall. They understand that they have to get their hours in class. They handle their business to make sure that they're eligible every single season because that's what an older guy already knows. He's already assumed that role in the collegiate level. And so now you're not having to teach him that. Now it's simply, hey, you already handled your business. You know what it takes to be the student part of this. Let me help you to be an athlete. Let's go out here and win some big games. So you've got older players. You've got players with multiple stops, with players who have played in meaningful innings in baseball games, which helps a ton, right? You look at what happened in 2026. You finished the year 41-25. You made it to the NCAA tournament, getting back there after missing out in 2025. You won multiple games in Montgomery, getting all the way to the Sun Belt Championship game, going toe-to-toe with Southern Miss and beating Coastal Carolina 4 out of 5 times in the season, and you reached a regional. But the one thing that really kept you from having a chance at being able to keep going and potentially going on a magical run like what we just saw Troy do, even though they got eliminated today, was the fact that you ran out of arms. And now that you're adding more depth in your bullpen, I don't think that that's going to be as much of the case as what we saw this past season. I think now that you've added more arms to your roster, that you have given yourself a chance now that if the pitching and the hitting will sync up together with some of the guys that you've brought in and the guys that you already have on your roster, Team 113 could potentially be hosting a regional and maybe even a super regional and could potentially go on a run towards the College World Series like what we saw Troy do this season, Coastal Carolina do the season before. So it appears that the coaching staff is going to continue to lean into the pitching depth, which is what I feel like they've solidified now. Like I said, I think that they will go and try to target some catchers to be able to solidify your roster. But in total now, you are at 33 guys. And this is a very solid arm that you add in there. He isn't, like I said at the beginning, somebody that's going to be flashy or anything like that. But it adds depth to the mound, and it gives you an opportunity that you have options coming out of the bullpen. As you head to the offseason, you inch towards fall ball and then getting toward the 2027 season where we will be seeing what Team 113 will look like. That's going to wrap up this episode of Ragin Rundown. If you made it to this point in the video, guys, thank you so much. I greatly appreciate that. As like I said, I'm dropping this literally probably an hour or so after the news has broke. If you made it to this point, thank you. Please like the video, share it, leave a comment down below. But most importantly, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. If you're listening, please follow the podcast feed, rate the show, and leave us a review because that's going to help us get in front of more Ragin' Cajun fans just like yourself. I'm your guy, Jamarcus Fitzpatrick. We'll see you guys next time.